Well, it's nice to be here, and we are actually kind of pleased to go ahead of Coke because everybody knows who Coca-Cola is, and not everybody knows who Southern Company is, so it's a little bit easier to be ahead of them. I'm accompanied today by Laurie Higgins. She's actually our social media editor. She does all our Twittering on behalf of our company. And as Toby discussed earlier, who are the champions? Find the champions at Southern Company. You're looking at them, Laurie and Lee. But we have been able to really champion a lot of activity at Southern Company, and we're excited today to share with you kind of how we're staffed and structured, and kind of the internal workings at a large organization. So how many of you know who Southern Company is? It's okay if you don't, but if you do. All right, that's good, that's good. I'm going to give you 2 minutes on who Southern Company is and then talk about how we are working social media. We are a large electric utility serving the Southeast. We're the parent of Alabama Power, Georgia Power, Gulf Power, and Mississippi Power. And we also have a competitive market business in the greater Southeast. We have 26,000 employees, and we serve 4.2 million customers. We generate electricity, we transmit it over transmission lines, and we distribute it to your home and places like this conference. We have some new things going on. We have solar. Most people don't associate Southern Company and solar power. We have a huge test kind of going out in New Mexico. We are associated with Ted Turner. He's got a lot of land out there, and we are putting 500,000 solar panels. Each panel is 2 feet by 4 feet. 500,000 panels are being built right now out in New Mexico. And this plant will go, or this generating facility will go live at the end of December. It generates 30 megawatts of electricity that serves 9,000 homes. 500,000 panels, like 28 football fields or something, of these panels to generate electricity for 9,000 homes. Something else you might not associate Southern Company with, but we also are doing a big biomass development in Texas. This is burning wood chips, and this facility is 100 megawatts, so 3 times as big as the solar plant. It takes a lot less land because it's in the middle of a forest where you burn the chips. So we also are doing biomass out in Texas, Nacogdoches, kind of remote locations. Back here in the Southeast, what are we building? We're building the first new nuclear power plant in the United States. We've gotten guaranteed loans from the administration, the federal Obama administration. And these 2 units, which will be built in addition to 2 units that we already have at Plant Vogtle near Augusta, will generate 2,400 megawatts of electricity. So you can see lots of land for solar, 30 megawatts, medium amount of land for 100 megawatts of biomass, little bit of land, 2,400 megawatts of electricity. So that's just a little bit new about what's going on at Southern Company. I guess the other big news is we have a new CEO this week, so that's been interesting. Okay, in that environment, very engineering type company, how do we enter the discussion of social media? And I don't know if many of you are at this place, but about 6 or 9 months ago, this is what our management wanted to do. Run, hide, your head in the sand. Is it really going to stay around? Yes, social media is here to stay, and the conversation is happening whether we're listening or not. So it's important, obviously, that we all get in the game. And Toby said you have to try it to really like it. I say put a helmet on and get in the game. If you're not, and the people that we work with, we want them to participate in social medias in lots of different platforms. We started out with developing this is kind of a multi-step process on how we've gotten to where we are today, but there was a cross-functional strategy team to try and figure out, well, what should we do with social media? How should we be structured? And one of the first things the strategy team did was develop guidelines. I've heard some conversation today about the guidelines. And we got them on 1 page. We were very excited. We got them on 1 page. And then we kind of summarized the 6 key points of that 1 page. And we will share these with anybody who's interested in the guidelines. Most of them are pretty logical. Identify yourself as an employee, maintain Southern style. That's our brand value of Southern Company, which is trust, performance, and commitment. Obviously protect confidentiality, copyrights, use good judgment. Some corporations just use the guideline, don't be stupid. And that's a good one, and be accountable. So if anybody's interested, I can give you how we got it all on one page with the lawyer's approval. Okay, so we set up at Southern Company SMACs, Social Media Advisory Council. And what you'll see is each of the blue blocks here represents some of the business units. Georgia Power in the upper left-hand corner, Alabama Power, Mississippi Power, Gulf Power, and then two others, Southern Nuclear and Southern Link. We took a very decentralized approach to social media. After all, social media is very local. So we took a decentralized approach and have each of these kind of committees at each of the business units. And each committee identified who they wanted to be on it. And you'll see different representations. Georgia Power, all of them have corporate communication representatives, but IT, marketing, customer satisfaction. This SMAC here is the one that Laurie and I represent, Southern Company SMAC. And we have the compliance people on our SMAC, human resources, market research, IT, and employee relations. So this has worked for us to establish these kind of decentralized SMAC committees with, cross-representation from the companies. The goal of the SMACs, though, is to be integrated and coordinated, and so the green block represents the SMAC chairs, which are the chair from each of those, we call it the system, but company-wide, and we meet every other month to make sure that we're being consistent in how we're dealing with issues, that we share best practices, that we're coordinated and integrated across the system. So far, we're off to a pretty good start. This has been up and running about 6 months, and the big company-wide SMAC meets every other month. That's a little bit how we're structured. One way to affect this coordination and integration was in our ability to create an internal website called Social Media Central, where all things social are logged. And Social Media Central, as I said, is internal website, and we're going to go to it live right now and show you how it works. Laurie's very good at adapting this, so this is good. Here's Social Media Central. It's an overview of social media. I'll go back to the tabs across the top in a minute, but strategy, summary of our strategy, FAQ, in case you want to know, have some questions about it, glossary, kind of demystify social media to people who want to learn more, policies and guidelines, we got lots of those, listening, and the contacts. And actually where the recent tweets, that's a live feed. It's not operating 100% right now, but that's the live feed in from Twitter for the keywords that we've put into that. Then you see the 5 social media platforms. The SMACs got together and decided we really needed to focus our efforts. There's so much out there. So let's kind of focus our efforts on some lead social media platforms. These are the 5 that we are focusing our efforts on, and we've kind of named everybody a specialist. Like there's somebody who's the Twitter go-to person. He's expected or she's expected to keep up with the guidelines, the changes in policies. If you have any technical questions, we got a Twitter person, we got a Facebook person, a LinkedIn person, and it's that person's responsibility to keep up with this. I might add, I forgot to mention this on the SMACs, none of us are full-time on social media. We all took this on as an additional assignment. So, it's your regular day job and a little bit of social media. But social media is taking more and more time. So, but we have nobody fully dedicated, for all intents and purposes, on social media. So those are the platforms we're following inside the company. And when you click on these, you will see it takes you to all the Twitter feeds for Southern Company. So again, it's a one-stop shop. Any employee can go to it and find out what's going on. And for demonstration purposes, we're going to take you from here to the Southern Company Twitter page. And again, this is live. We're logged in here. We have 1,810 followers. We love them. They're purists. They really care about us. We like that type of audience. This week we tweeted about the new CEO and a very good earnings report yesterday, and that was a really good good news in the Twitter world. We also tweeted live from our annual meeting, which was the first time, obviously, that had been done with success. Southern Company's brand is more the B2B brand, and then Georgia Power, Alabama, and what we call OPCO brands are the more of the consumer brands. So our messaging reflects and is integrated with our other strategy. Okay, Facebook. Here are all the Facebook pages that we've identified around the system. And again, the SMAC members are responsible that if they identify a Facebook page deep in accounting somewhere, they need to, it's their job to get it on Social Media Central. So it's kind of the collection of all what's going around the system. This is our new Southern Company Careers Facebook page. We have about 250 or 300 employees who are either co-op students or interns or young hires. We want to have them get more. We are very interested in hiring engineers. We love Georgia Tech. We hire lots of people from Georgia Tech. And so this new Southern Company Careers Facebook page has been launched, and we're getting some traction. Lots of people are joining it, and it's kind of our first foray into Facebook as an official page. Another Facebook page, a different way, we've used it is through at the community level. We have lots of activities in communities around the Southeast, and this page, Mississippi Renew Our Rivers, we have big river cleanups. All the people from plants and employees go out and clean up all the junk and garbage around the rivers, and so it's all coordinated at the community level through this website. You find out when and where to go for your river cleanup. People post their pictures, etc. So this is not branded by Mississippi Power, but very much of a community page created by the company to help us run and operate a community activity. We've got YouTube, LinkedIn, Yammer. Are any of you all using Yammer? Yeah. We found it to be very effective at Southern Company. Yammer is an external social media, but it's limited by your @ID. So in order to join the Yammer, you have to be @southernco.com. Am I making that clear? Yeah.
Have you upgraded?
We have not upgraded.
Yeah,
we're still dabbling. We haven't paid for anything yet.
Yeah.
But Yammer takes the benefits or the positives of both Twitter and Facebook and kind of combines them. And what we found internally is that employees are a lot more comfortable sort of under the protection of talking in Yammer because they know they're only talking to Southern Company employees. It's not so external. We've got about 1,000 members, and this thing, you know, people started using it about, I don't know, 3 months ago. Yeah, it's taken off. And so it's just a live internal, you know, communication tool that has evolved and we are using inside the company. We had a broadcast this week, a video broadcast across the Southeast, and one of the servers was down and slow and buffering or distributing to a lot of our employees, and we resolved it on Yammer. Everybody got on Yammer. It was quick. You didn't have to create an email to and put 14 names in. They were all in the group. So we found Yammer as a nice, comfortable way to step into social media within the protection, I hate to use that word, but the comfort of your own company. So it's worked. I think Jive is another one, but we're not using that. So those are the 5 platforms that we're focusing on, and Social Media Central. Oh, now we're getting some more live feeds.
There's someone here in the audience.
Oh, good. Excellent. Also on this site, you'll see strategy, and Laurie will just kind of click us through this. Just a quick summary of, so anybody who wants to know what is Southern Company social media strategy can go there. We've got FAQs I mentioned. Lots of just questions, and there are questions on here like should my department create a Facebook page? Mostly the answer maybe not, but we try and answer that in a proactive way. What happens if I get an oops page? I don't know how many of you are in corporate offices, but we're very fortunate actually to work at Southern Company that allows us to access all of these pages inside our firewall. But you can't go to some pages at Southern Company, and people are worried they might get an oops page. And so we answer that question. So it's just a whole series of questions. You can click on them and get the answers. Glossary, I mentioned this earlier, just to kind of help demystify and explain to employees what some of these things are. We find our executives are a little bit curious or intimidated by all the social media stuff. Helps to explain to them what it is. Policy and guidelines. Again, our guidelines are housed under our electronic guidelines, which is a much bigger probably policy, but it's housed under that. And as I mentioned, we got them kind of on a one-pager that are listed here. And we have communicated and sent these to all employees or put them on articles that they link to. And it is the employees, it's the expectation the employees are aware of the policy and guidelines and follows them. Listening, this is a fun little page. We have live tweet feeds for each of the different brands that we follow. And so if an employee just wants to kind of get a sense of what's going on in Twitter, doesn't really want a tweet deck or something like that, they can go to this page and just see the population of the real feeds. So they can do that. Also on listening, we do use Scout Labs. I don't know if any of you use that as an external tracking system. We've had some success. It's not the end all, but we do use that external tracking feature. And then the last area here is contacts, and that just, again, lists all the SMAC members and how to reach them and what organization they are, so that people know who to go to contact in the kind of decentralized role of this. You know, we're still all new at this. We realize it's early in social media. Southern Company's taken a very studied, steeled approach, but we have made great progress, and getting things set up internally is a big step of getting everyone's buy-in and support. And we are, it's provided kind of the umbrella support we needed to go into, take the company into this new medium. So that's a quick summary of how Southern Company is structured, what we're doing, and how we're kind of pulling it all together through Social Media Central. I'll be happy to take any questions if you have them. Yeah?
Would you clarify for me, you got your official sites, but those smaller SMACs, do they have their own Facebook or YouTube or?
Like Georgia Power will have YouTube pages, and they have an green energy Facebook page, but they have to log it into the Social Media Central. So when you click to YouTube or to Facebook, you'll see Southern Companies, you'll see Georgia Powers, you'll see Alabama Powers, Gulf, Mississippi. Each of the companies that have sites have to put it on that page.
Let's say your HR doesn't have this on Facebook or?
It's not really under the HR department. It's the Southern Company Careers Facebook, so it is logged on there. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you using social media to educate your customers a little bit more about how the power grid works? And, you know, because with, I guess, with smart grid coming, I think there's so much more that the consumer can know about their utilities. Right. Are you using them for educational purposes?
We have not gotten there yet. I think we will, probably in blogs. We have not done a lot with blogs yet. A lot of our topics are complex, take more space than 40 characters. Although we did do a mini Twitter campaign for 30 days. We've kind of done content management in chunks of months. We did a 30-day Twitter campaign and communicated key environmental facts, and then linked back to, who was talking about outposting, linked back to our website for more information. So we've used it that way. You know, there's lots of debate in Washington, D.C. about climate change, and we're trying to listen and create conversation. We don't know where that's going to go, but we want to be at the table with it in social media. So, other questions, comments?
I got one more.
Okay,
this
good.
Is on social
Yeah.
media. I was happy that the way you introduced your slide. Really good to see the things that you guys are doing.
Yeah.
With nuclear, are you guys have a game plan to continue to build nuclear plants? I think that's a good thing, but.
It is a good thing. They're very, very expensive. They take a long time to build, 10 years. Lots of regulations along the way, and nuclear is it's expensive to build, but once it's built, it's very cheap to run. Other things are cheap to build, but very expensive to run. So I do think you'll see more nuclear. It's the only viable option for power that serves masses of people. We can do solar, but we can only serve 9,000 homes. That's like 3 blocks in Atlanta, you know, and to take up 280 football fields worth of space to do that, you got to look at the scale. So nuclear is a very good option for us, particularly here in the southeast. You know, we don't have, I know we have a lot of heat here, but we really don't have ideal sun for solar in the southeast. That's why we're testing it out in New Mexico where there's better sun. Yeah,
Can
Toby.
you talk a little bit about your listening program, your monitoring program?
We use several tools. We follow TweetDeck a lot on, you know, several different Twitters. We've just, Laurie this week has gotten us into TweetReach, which is a free service which analyzes not only the number of tweets you've had, but how many people have retweeted them, kind of your influencers. And so we did some stats this week on our CEO announcement and on our earnings call where, you know, we did one tweet and by the time it got tweeted and retweeted, we were reaching 100,000 people. So, but we're still very much in the quantitative. We have looked qualitatively at adding some social media questions to our ongoing brand tracking and environmental tracking research. And we're hoping to accomplish that in 2011. So we're still kind of in the quantitative analytical stage.
And with Scout Lab, you're
Yeah.
monitoring the whole conversation.
We are, because that pulls in blogs, forums, news, Twitter, not Facebook.
How do you make sense of that? I mean, obviously you're monitoring by keywords.
Right.
And I would imagine if you just put in the word Southern Company, you would get a tsunami of information. How do you know what to look for? How are you like narrowing that focus?
Yeah. Can we go to Scout Labs?
Yes.
We can. We, you know, I don't know, we put 8 or 10 words in, you know, Southern Company, Southern Co. Sometimes we do get Southern California information or Southern Colorado, but we put quotes around it to help that. We have a very generic name. It's an ongoing problem. Think American Express, Southern Company. So we, and like our Southern Company Twitter is one word to help define that, so we just kind of play around with it. Have any of you seen Scout Labs? Are you all familiar with it? Well, I think Laura's going to be able to pull it up and I'll just show you. It measures sentiment, it measures activity, and we can pull it up for each of our different brands. It's a very moderate priced tracking tool. As I said, it's not the end all to all, but it's been a very good start for us. So in just a minute, so you can see on the left, we can track all those companies. We track our competition. We track different things. So here's a quick overview on Southern Company. So we search for all those names: Southern Company, Southern Co. Southern Company is one word. Southern Co. one word. You know, variations. And what you'll see here is you can see we got a lot of activity with the CEO announcement. Hello, it's good when you have good news and our good earnings. But there are the blogs. There's the sentiment on the right. The green is good, the red is negative. Here, somebody, thank you. Mr. Carter in the room. Yammer, another tool. You scroll down, we have Flickr, forums, quotes, blogs. So we use Scout Labs as a monitoring tool. And as I said, we did research to pick a tool. I think Coke has used this. It doesn't do Facebook, but it does collect a lot of the other stuff. They only get 15% of the tweets. We did learn that Twitter only allows these tracking tools to have access to 15%. You got to buy more, you got to pay more to get more access.
We also have a member on our team from the marketing analytics.
Yeah.
So he's very helpful in helping us make sense of exactly what this means.
Yeah. But so we had 597 mentions.
Do you read every single one of those mentions?
No, but we keep our eye on it a lot. I mean, TweetDeck runs on the back of my desktop all day long. And another feature of this too is you can assign, let's see, I'll show this. So let's say we had, sometimes we get customer service problems, imagine that, but you can assign it and then we link over to where you assign, and all these people are the SMAC members, the 36 SMAC members I mentioned, and then we send it to them and tell them, take care of this. And then it stays open until they take care of it. So, you know, it gets emailed around the company. So that is Scout Labs. If you haven't used it and you're just getting into it, it's a good start. It's a very good starting tool at, like I said, a very efficient cost compared to some of the other ones. So I don't know if that completely answered your question, but we're doing our best on trying to monitor it. We print this stuff out, you know, because it's so fleeting. Here today, gone tomorrow. So we document, do screen saves, and try and capture a lot of this.
So you're printing out all 500 that you got today?
No. We do only around key topics, you know, like around the CEO announcement. We did screen grabs off of TweetDeck, actually. This you can go back, it's a rolling 30-day activity. So, John?
How has this affected your department in terms of time spent or staffing? And
Well, as I said, Laurie and I both have regular day jobs. We've taken on social media, and you know, the point, we are champions of it, and you do have to have people who really care about it and want to do it. We've gotten support from the CEO down, and that's been really good. But it is eating more and more of our time, and we're just, I don't know how long we're gonna have to probably do something about that. We agreed for the first 6 months, which was this year, to really observe, listen, and dabble, and that's what we've done, and we've learned a ton, and we're gonna have to, I mean, we're ready to roll. We're gonna meet and kind of get our communication strategy organized for 2011. But that was a good way to start, was to get people to take it on a part-time basis. We don't have a bunch of ambassadors around the company yet who are tweeting or blogging, but I would think we'd move into that before too long. I liked what AT&T was doing. So, okay. Well, thank you very much. It was nice to be here with you all today and meet you all and to share a little bit about what Southern Company's doing in the social media world. I'm impressed how many of you already knew who we were. All right, thanks.
thank you. Thank you.